Good morning, students. In this video, I would like to give an introduction to medieval age and dark age, 5th century to 14th century. History of English literature is a part of the literature which focuses on the impact of social, political, economic, cultural, and historical influence on the production of the literature. Totally, every literature in the is the product of the society where it is originated. The study of the history of English literature provides a thorough knowledge of the periodization of the literature according to the time frame of its production. The chronological study of the literature enables us to understand its progress, the development of literary devices, selection of themes, and so on. History of English literature is not only concentrates on the periodization of the literature. It also focuses on the prominent writers and their contribution to the development of literature. It also talks about the importance of literature, its nature and value. From Aristotle to the present times, how literature has evolved from the mere imitation to a creative genre is provided in the study of history of English literature. The development in the society changes the taste and interest of the people, which is captured in the literature of the age. Therefore, some ages or periods are named after the influential persons. It may be writers, kings, queens, or the themes of the age. For example, the Renaissance period, age of Shakespeare, Victorian era, etc. 476 CE to the beginning of the Renaissance in the 14th century is called as medieval age. It is also called dark ages in the history. The fall of the Roman Empire around 5th century is marked as the beginning of the dark ages. After the glorious 350 years rule of Holy Romans, a vacuum was created. The people involved in frequent warfare between the Huns, Goths, Vandals, and so on. As the people always engaged in war, there was no progress in science, art and architecture, economic or political fields. In comparison to the magnificent rule of Romans and Greeks, medieval seems to be in darkness. Hence, the 14th century Italian scholar who originated the concept of Dark Age applied it to the post Roman period. He called it dark in comparison to the bright classical age of Romans. England was also under the attacks of invaders after declaring independence from the Romans empires. At first, the Irish raiders attacked the England from the west. They are followed by the Picts from the north, and later on, Angles, Saxons, and Jutes invaded England. The Britons countered these invaders with the help of Romans, but Angles and Saxons were successful in establishing their power over England. They united south and western part of England and gave a stable governance until the attack of the Viking. England began to flourish in the fields of art, culture. It is believed that at this time the great epic poem Beowulf was produced. After a fierce attack, the Vikings established their power in Wessex, a part of England. Viking and Anglo-Saxons were taken over by the Normans in 1066. Now England became the part of Scandinavian empire. Political condition. Norman King William attacked England from the northern part and conquered the entire England and successful in establishing his rule over England. The Germanic influence through Anglo-Saxons was reduced by Norman rule. Normans brought many changes in the social, cultural, economic, and political life of English. King Williams and his knights tried to establish a powerful administration in England. To present, to protest the stability of the newly established kingdom, he brought many changes in his administration. He encouraged his knights to have army and rear it. So he granted lands to his knights and gave full authority of it. The common people worked for the lords and they became a prosperous class in England. It established hierarchical system where everyone was under the obligation of the service to the class above. He built network of castles to surpass the revolt in the country. After King William's his youngest son Henry I came to power. He established peaceful administration in the country. He brought some administrative and legal reforms. But in the political upheaval, his next successor, Henry II, comes to power. He also wants to strengthen the kingdom and constructed more castles. Dover Castle is one among them, which is the stopover to Canterbury. After many successors, Edward III came to throne. He was a great warrior and established a powerful kingdom. He was victorious in many wars, one among them 100 Years of War. The war had taken place between the England and the France. He was victorious in Crécy and Poitiers. These battles are well known for their archery. They used long bows, which became the dominant English weapons of the later Middle Ages. After Edward III, his grandson Richard III, Henry V came to power. The social condition of the medieval period. After the fall of Roman Empire, Britons formed their own tribal alliances. Anglo-Saxons brought with them the cultures and religion of the Germans. They developed monasteries and convents throughout England. King Alfred the Great promoted English language to learn in these monasteries, which acted as schools. Normans further added to the development of the kingdom. They constructed castles around England to assure the safety of the country. As the Normans converted to Christianity, they constructed new monasteries and churches in a Romanesque or Norman style. King William traveled through the England and surveyed the land governed by feudal ties. He recorded all these details in the book Domesday Book. Under the Normans, new almshouses and hospitals were constructed to care for poor and sick people. Towns were developed and they became autonomous. They are the centers of trade and commerce. The difference between the Normans and English are reduced. English language came to prominence. The development in wool trade supported money-based economy. In 14th century, around the year 1315 to 1349, England faced a great famine, Black Death. As the great famine approached, the people lost their crops, their cattle, sheep. Crime in the society increased. Diseases spread all over the city. Large number of people lost their life. It affected greatly on the economic and political system of the country. The devastating effect on the English society is the Black Death. It killed more than half of the population of England. Its effects are more dangerous than the disease. The shortage of labor force increased their demand. They demanded higher wages. Band men refused to do unpaid services. They opposed feudal system and demanded changes in the system. For the first time, the people rejected the doctrines and actions of the church. John Wycliffe and Lollard challenged the doctrines of the church. People are yielded to purchase the blessings of the God through paying money for the prayers and pilgrimages. Literary life of Middle Ages. Anglo-Saxons have been more Anglo-Saxons have given more importance to the poems. They are collected and compiled in the early 9th century. One prominent survived poem is Beowulf. It portrays a vivid heroism of the protagonist who died at the hands of a dragon. In the Norman rule, the literature was produced in French language more than English. Courtly love and romances were popular at this time. Many stories are written about the legendary King Arthur. Still, major literary works are produced in Latin or French. Under the rule of Richard II, English language gained importance. Many poems are written in English, which are known as Richardian poetry. At the same time, at the same line, Geoffrey Chaucer, who is regarded as the father of English literature, writes his seminal work, Canterbury Tales, in a unique English. Dear students, for further reference, we can refer David H's A Critical History of English Literature, Nair Pramod, A Short History of English Literature, Hudson, An Outline History of English Literature. With this, I conclude medieval period. All the best. Good luck. Thank you.